In this video, you are going to learn a beautiful and motivating poem written by Sarojini Naidu. Do you believe in fate? A strong belief in fate is the worst kind of slavery. The concept of fate or fatalism is the system of belief that holds that the universe and everything in it is governed by destiny or fate. What is fate according to you? Destiny is what you are supposed to do in life. Fate is what kicks you to make do it. A man's character is fate. Life is a journey of either fate or destiny. Fate is the result of giving into one's wounds and headaches. Your destiny unfolds when you rise above the challenges of your life and use them as divine opportunities to move forward to unlock your higher potential. Discuss with your friends and collect different opinions on fate before reading this poem, A Challenge to Fate, written by Sarojini Naidu. Here, a challenge. Challenge means to confront. As a noun, it means dare or provocation. Let us know about the poet Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu, also known as Sarojini Chattopadhyay, was born on February 13, 1879 in Hyderabad. Her father Aghornath Chattopadhyay was a scientist and the founder of Nizam College, Hyderabad. Her mother Bharadasundari Devi was a Bengali poetess. The sobriquet Nightingale of India was bestowed on her because of her poems which are lyrical and rich in imagery. She was a child prodigy, a gifted student, topped matriculation exam at Madras University, a freedom fighter and a women leader. Sarojini Naidu, popular as the Nightingale of India, is one of the most recognized Indian poets. As a child prodigy, she started writing poetry quite early. Her poems are known for their technical supremacy. Indian culture, customs, history, and art formed her favorite themes. The present poem, A Challenge to Fate, is at once bold and motivating. A Challenge to Fate by Sarojini Naidu is a beautiful and inspiring poem depicting the strong spirit of human soul. She shows how an enlightened spirit cannot be defeated by fate. Before reading the poem, I will explain some of the new words that you come across in this poem. Futile. It's an adjective. Futile means pointless, having no purpose because there is no chance of success. Uses. The doctor's effort to revive him were futile. Poignant. It's also an adjective. It means incisive, penetrating, having a strong effect on your feelings, especially in a way that makes you feel sad. Usage. It was a poignant that the effects of a war that touched every aspect of society. Subtle. Subtle is also an adjective. It means not very noticeable or obvious. Usage. There are subtle differences between the two versions. Next word. Malice. Malice is a noun. Means a feeling of hatred for somebody that causes a desire to harm them. Uses. The ghosts are described as if they bear actual malice towards humans. Next word. Usurp. Usurp is a verb. It means to take somebody's position or power without having the right to do that. Example, this decision will usurp the powers of the committee. Scatheless. Scatheless means harmless. Scatheless means harmless. It's a noun. It means in the uses, he felt like a man who has just come scatheless through the horrible crisis and once more knows the sweet sensation of safety. Pageant. Pageant means an elaborate public display. Once the pageant was over, all the participants took their dresses back home. Next, smite. It's a verb. It means to hit somebody or something hard. Uses. He vowed that he would smite his enemy. Next, mellifluous. Mellifluous means sounding sweet and smooth, very pleasant to listen to. Usage. She sounded quite mellifluous on the phone. Next, quell. Quell means verb. To stop something such as violent behavior or protest. Usage. Extra police were called in to quell the disturbances. Next, anguish. Anguish, it's a noun. Severe pain, mental suffering, or unhappiness. Usage. Tears of anguish filled her eyes. Pinion. It's a verb. It means to hold or tie somebody, especially by their arms. Usage. His arms were pinioned to his sides. Next, betray means it's a verb. It means to give information about somebody or something to an enemy. Usage. He was offered money to betray his company. Hanker. Hanker is a verb. It means to have a strong desire for something. Usage. He had hankered after fame all his life. Slake. Slake is a verb. It means to lessen the force of. The electrolyte water should help slake the runner's thirst during marathon. The electrolyte water should help slake the runner's thirst. Now let us read the first stanza of The Challenge to Fate. Why will you vex me with your futile conflict? Why will you strive with me, O foolish fate? You cannot break me with your poignant envy. You cannot slay me with your subtle hate. For all the cruel folly you pursue, I will not cry with suppliant hands to you. Second stanza. You may perchance reckon your bitter malice, the radiant empire of mine eager eyes. Say, can you rob my memory's dear dominion over sunlit mountains and sidereal skies? In my enduring treasuries I hold their ageless splendor of unravished gold. Third stanza. You may usurp the kingdoms of my hearing. Say, shall my scatheless spirit cease to hear? The bridal rapture of the blowing valleys, the lyric pageant of the passing year, the sounding words and singing harmonies of battling tempests and unconquered seas. let us understand the first stanza. Why will you vex me with your futile conflict? Why will you strive with me, O foolish fate? You cannot break me with your poignant envy. You cannot slay me with your subtle hate. For all the cruel folly you pursue, I will not cry with suppliant hands to you. Here, you refers to fate, me refers to the poet. Here, the poet calls fate as foolish fate. The adjective used to describe fate as foolish. So, here, fate, sometimes referred to as destiny, it is a predetermined course of events which are out of control of a person. It is thought of as something inevitable and usually people are afraid of it. But the poet not only refuses to acknowledge any such fear, but daringly calls it foolish and asks why it is always conspiring and annoying her by preventing her from enjoying life. She challenges and warns fate that its hateful schemes against her happiness would go futile. The poet's challenge to fate begins from the title itself. The speaker addresses fate as a foolish and envious force. She describes fate's efforts as cruel. She declares that fate would end in failure. She affirms that her spirit will not bend her head down. Let difficulties come in dozens. Her soul holds her head high. Problems in plenty may greet her, yet she stays firm. So these words motivate the readers to get ready to face difficulties. They distinguish willpower from physical abilities. They prove that with willpower alone one can reach sky high. Modern generation needs these words very much. Powerful spirit enables one to encounter even destiny. So, in the first stanza, the poet calls the fate as foolish. Now, let us go to the second stanza. You may perchance reckon bitter malice, the radiant empire of mine eager eyes. Say, can you rob my memory's dear dominion over sunlit mountains and sidereal skies? In my enduring treasuries, I hold their ageless splendor of unravished gold. Here, the poet rebels against fate by saying that it may possibly be victorious in destroying her bright, colorful world of light that her eyes sees. The poet defies fate by saying that it may perhaps succeed in destroying her brilliant world of light that her eyes sees. Still, it can't deprive her of the memories of the joyous days of beautiful mountains and the splendor of star studded deep space that can be seen with the mind's eye. The fate can't rob her of the treasuries of beautiful memories. So, in the third stanza, you may usurp the kingdoms of my hearing. Say, shall my scathless spirit cease to hear the bridal rapture of the blowing valleys, the lyric pageant of the passing year, the sounding odes and singing harmonies of battling tempests and unconquered seas? The poet says in the third stanza, she again challenges the fate by saying that it may take away from her the ability to hear the joyous blowing of winds in the valleys, the melodious sounds of the life throughout the year, yet it can't deprive her to enjoy the sounds of tempests and tossing seas. So let us see the summary of the first 3 stanzas. A Challenge to Fate by Sarojini Naidu is a beautiful poem depicting the indomitability of human soul. In the first stanza, the poetess asks the fate why it is always conspiring and annoying her by thwarting her happiness, joys, and all the good things of life. She dares to call fate foolish and challenges it not to meddle with her life, as it won't succeed in its ill intentions. She warns it that its hateful schemes against her happiness won't succeed. Though it is so much intent upon bringing her pain and despair, still she won't bend her head down in supplication to it. The poet defies fate by saying that it may perhaps succeed in destroying her brilliant world of light that her eyes see, still it can't deprive her of the memories of the joyous days of beautiful mountains and splendor of star-studded deep space that can only be seen with mind. The fate can't rob her of the treasures of beautiful memories. In the third stanza, the poet again challenges the fate by saying that it may take away from her the ability to hear the joyous blowing of winds in the valleys, the melodious sounds of life throughout the year, yet it can't deprive her to enjoy the sounds of the tempest and tossing seas. ఒకసారి తెలుగులో కూడా చెప్తాను. ఈ పోయం భారత కోకిలగా ఖ్యాతిగాంచిన సరోజినీ నాయుడు గారు అత్యంత గుర్తింపు పొందిన భారతీయ కవుల్లో ఒకరన్నమాట. ఆవిడ బాల మేధావి. ఆవిడ చాలా చిన్న వయసు నుండే కవితలు రాయటం మొదలుపెట్టారు. భారతీయ సంస్కృతి సాంప్రదాయాల గురించి ఆవిడ ఎక్కువ కవితల్లో కనిపిస్తాయి. ఈ కవితలో సాధారణంగా ప్రజలు విధిని ఎట్లా భావిస్తారంటే దేవుడు నిర్ణయించిన తలరాతగా ఆమోదిస్తారు. మనం ఏదో దురదృష్టవంతులు అని అలాగే బాధపడుతూ విధిని ఎదిరించడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉండరు. విధిని సవాల్ చేసే మార్గాన్ని ఇక్కడ సరోజినీ నాయుడు గారు చూపిస్తున్నారు. ముందు మొదటి స్టాంజాలో విధిని తెలివి తక్కువ దానిగా వర్ణిస్తారు. తనకు చికాకు కలిగించే హక్కు విధికి ఎక్కడదని ప్రశ్నిస్తారు. తన సంతోషాన్ని అంతం చేయాలనే విధి ప్రయత్నాలన్నీ విఫలమవుతాయని ప్రకటిస్తారు. తన చూపుని, వినికిడి శక్తిని, అన్ని శక్తుల్ని విధి దొంగిలించగలదేమో కానీ తనలో ఉన్న దృఢమైన స్ఫూర్తిని, బలమైన ఆత్మవిశ్వాసాన్ని విధి అధిగమించలేదని ఆమె నొక్కి చెప్తారనమాట. సో ఇది విధికి సవాలు అనే ఈ కవితలో ఈ సెషన్లో ఈ వీడియోలో మొదటి 3 స్టాంజాస్ విన్నారు. సో ఇందులో చాలా సాహసోపేతమైన పదాలు మనకి కనిపిస్తాయి. Hope you have understood the first 3 stanzas. Thank you.